Yo, TY, TY. G'day, g'day, I'm doing good. TY. TY. Not a great level up. Oh, whoops. Let me change that. Alright, fixed. Try that again. Correct, yes. T1. Same. T1, T1. This is not going well. Look, getting up to the Abra is better than not getting up to the Abra there. Still made it there in 3. Last stretch wasn't too bad. Just 2 to 3 was terrible. real best way to catch Abra right near the start of the game is in Gen 4, where Chimchar learns Taunt, and you can taunt the Abra so it can't teleport away. This attack stat is not very good. By which I mean it is bad. Didn't swap positions! Fucking hell. Keep forgetting to swap positions. But yeah, in this game, boy vs girl doesn't really make any significant difference at all. It would be wrong to say it makes no significant difference in Gen 3 though, because Hoenn is probably the biggest difference. Please, big tackle. That's bullshit. In Hoenn, because like you fight the other one, the rival actually has different Pokemon, whether you're boy or girl, and then different natures on the ones that they do have as well. There we go. I won't have it at 15, but we'll have it for these ones. Pikachu, obviously. I do not think that was safe. Yeah. No, Nidoking is the best in Gen 1. It's nowhere near as good in the remakes. Yeah, this is fun. Tauros is the best competitively, not for speedruns. It is actually still pretty good. But by the time you get it, you've already got a very good Nidoking. Yo, T1. Probably should have just used the second version. I think that actually was the smartest one. Trying to skip the menu. Ugh. Well, that's GG. I'd had like 4 really good Misties in a row. I was definitely due a bad one. Team Team. G'day, Team. I don't think I'm gonna go with this. I'm just gonna think for a sec. No. I would actually say the opposite. When it's played up, it's not funny at all and completely inauthentic. But when it's genuine, it's a reaction to something that's absurd that's happened in the game, and that's what's interesting. I do love me some Gen 5. TY. I really like Zekrom and Reshiram. There's a lot of really good Gen 5 legends. Also a big fan of Victini and Meloetta and Genesect. Take a day. Gen 6 is bad because it never got a finished game. That's why it's bad. Like, I'll say it again and again, X and Y are miles better games than Diamond and Pearl. It just never got its platinum. Ultra Beasts are dumb. Pincer also has Mold Breaker. Oh yeah, Exco. That's hidden though. Yes, Pincer can learn Earthquake. Pincer 1 has Earthquake. Manufacturing that. I think Gen 5 with the... Like, it was so much bigger than all of the other ones, the hate that it got on release, that it doesn't even feel like any of the other gens really had that. To me. Even if, obviously, every game is going to have some degree of it. 100%. I don't really remember anybody shitting on Gen 2 when it came out. When Gen 3 came out, I wasn't even aware, to be honest, when Ruby and Sapphire came out, so I can't really speak to that. Yeah, the only two fire types is one of the most obvious echo chamber shit, because you can say that about so many types in so many games. But people just repeat that one with Diamond and Pearl ad nauseum. See, the one that kind of died out when Gen 5 came out, that was around when Gen 4 came out, at least from my experience, because like when Gen 5 came out, it was just ice cream bad, trash can bad, or trash bag bad. And that kind of took over. But when it was just Gen 4, the one that got a lot of hate was Rotom Wash. It was washing machine bad. Yeah, it was specifically Rotom Wash. And yeah, Gen 6 was 100% Klefki. I mean, again, I didn't play Gen 4 when they first came out, but my complaint with it when Gen 4 came out was... So I think part of the reason I, like, kind of fell out at Gen 3 was you couldn't connect Gen 2 to Gen 3. And so then when Gen 4 came out, I assumed it, like Gen 2, being like 16 badge game, can trade with Gen 1 directly. I assumed Gen 4 would do that as well, and then it didn't, and I was like, oh, that's kind of shit. Gen 2 the goat, I guess. Didn't get the IV. Got the special attack one anyway. It is good, yes, but I've only got the special attack because I have a plus nature, because it's mild, so the IV is actually not good. Oh no, it's like I understand why you can't. I'm just saying I think that had a big bearing on why I didn't connect to Gen 3, like at all. I still don't think that's as bad as Fire Red Leaf Green, like, refusing to let you have a Crobat until National Dex. It's like, oh, you can evolve this Pokemon. Haha, no you can't. Because you weren't allowed to get Pokemon outside of the Kanto Dex until you got the Nat Dex. It was fucking stupid. And they did not repeat that in Heart Gold Soul Silver. I still hate how in Diamond and Pearl you can get Murkrow and Mischievous early, but you can't get a Duststone until late. And then in Platinum they give you a Duststone early, but then you can't get Murkrow or Mischievous early. I don't think trade-based evolutions are the worst idea ever. Like, it was clearly done for a purpose. And I would say was actually very successful at getting people to interact with the idea of trading within the Pokemon games and world, generally speaking. That being said, you do feel like it's served its purpose now. I still think one of the other really shit things they did in Gen 4 was make it so that the GBA slot pokes only showed up after Nat Dex as well. God, it would have been so cool if they were just there straight away. I mean, to be fair, in Gen 1, being stuck with Kadabra the whole time is not the worst thing. Kadabra still goes hard. I mean, one of the real good things they did was in Japanese Blue, they actually gave you some of the in-game trade pokes, be the trade Evos. Yeah, Mindy was so shit. I think in-game trade pokes were another thing that went way backwards after early on. Like, you can argue that Gen 1 had the best in-game trade pokes. Like, Gen 3 especially. Like, they only had 3 of them, and they were all very mid. Not very interesting. And then Gen 4, they pulled that fucking Mindy shit. It wasn't a particularly good Squirtle, so I was happy to risk that. Yeah, in yellow you can trade a Cubone and get Marchant. Yeah, Gen 1 had a lot, and then some of them were quite interesting, and they changed between the games as well. Like between red, blue, and yellow, and Japanese blue. And like you'd get different levels of pokes as well. Oh, ration fucking sucks. I still think Japanese blue is the best. Because, like, they would actually give you Gengar in that. You could get Gengar and Golem through in-game trades. Not only that, you could also get Kangaskhan and Tauros instead of having to get them from the Safari Zone. Still had Mime and Farfetch'd, and then they made Jinx available as a wild in Japanese blue. And then you get to Gen 3 and it's like there's one in-game trade until you get to Fortree City. And then they're like, would you like to trade Pikachu for fucking Skitty? Which you could have got before any gym badges? Oh, whoops. And Emerald is like, would you like to trade Volbeat for Plusle? Like, this is not fun. And then the third one in Emerald is, would you like to trade Bagon for Horsey? Fuck me. And yeah, Gen 4 only had 4 as well. And one of them was Mindy, which, I mean, that just kind of ruins everything. Like, if Mindy didn't have the fucking Everstone, you wouldn't mind those trades at all. But it just sours the whole fucking thing. Like, early Abra not having to catch it with fucking teleport shit, that's a good trade. Weasel for Chatot, you know what? I don't mind it at all. And then if I actually got fucking Gengar from Mindy, hell fucking yeah. Gen 5 was pretty slim on the trades as well, until you got to fucking, like, Yancey and Curtis. They had tons, obviously. Good without the shit nature. Yeah, that's true. And I do appreciate like any trade where they give you a trade evo. They don't give you the fucking Boldor though, they just give you Gigalith. In Gen 7 they introduce giving a trade evo though. They bring it back, because you can get the you get Graveler into Golem. They changed it in Ultra, but it was still a trade evo. I can't remember what it was to. But Ultra gets the fucking early Holucha, which fucking goes ham. I mean, obviously now, if we're counting it, it would be Heracross, because Heracross is the best. Let me think. I'm just so fucked for Misty. fucked if I get hard and near them. Oh, or I could just lose the speed tie and then die. Awesome. Right, right. Right. Honestly, I think it would have been great if there was an in-game trade for Butterfree in like the Kanto games, because so many people got Butterfree at the start of the game, but did not like using it at the end because it just couldn't carry through. I think that would have been a great choice. What do you mean by that? Like, you just mean the game won't save anymore? The only GBA game I've had that wouldn't save anymore was Metroid Fusion when I was a kid. Never had it for any other. I had Wario Land 4, but that one was fine for me. Well, I'm still using the same Emerald cart that I had as a kid. And it has had its moments, but it is still going. And I've never replaced anything in it. My god, this is a fast Squirtle. Yeah, I'll redo the batteries on my old Game Boy carts at some stage. But like, my strategy has always been, at some point I'll replace them all at once. Because there's no point getting fucking one battery. Like, you may as well get a bunch at once. TY. Which one? The game is going to cost a lot more than the console. Like, you could get a DS for $40, no problem. The games, you'll be looking at 3 figures though. I mean, honestly, for the experience of playing on console, DS is actually the cheapest because it's like the console itself is very cheap and you can just buy a flash card for like $5 and put all the games on that. Whereas flash cards for like anything other than DS cost a decent amount. And if you go 3DS, it's like you can soft mod it, you don't need to buy anything else, and that's super easy. But the 3DS costs a little bit more than a DS. Yep. Yeah, no, I was thinking about this recently because it's like my little brother, he's 4 now, and I'm thinking about if I was going to get him like a console, what would be the best thing to give him to start with? And it's like, well, I want something that's cheap as possible because he's fucking young and could break it. And I'm like, yeah, I think a DS would be the way to go. DS with a flash card. Damn. Took the risk there. It's definitely not indestructible. I would actually say the older models were harder to break, because the DS, I mean, it's got hinges, which are really easy to tear off if you're, like, putting strength through it. And then, because, like, the touchscreen teaches you to interact with the screen, it's then way easier to fuck up the screen. But, like, pre-SP, you've got no backlight, and it's like, no backlight is fucked. Like, we went through that as kids, because we had no other option. When you have an option, it's fucked. And then the problem with the SP is, I mean, A, accessibility, GBA flashcard, etc. is more of a hassle than DS flashcard. But it's like, if you're playing on actual carts, I don't like the hanging out the back for kids. Like it not being a snug fit in the cartridge slot is just prone to you know, getting fucked in one way or another. I don't think a kid really cares about no headphone slot, to be honest. No, I'm gonna reset that. Fuck it. 8 speed. Nope. I mean, as a kid, I only played at home. I would get in trouble for speaker audio as well, but I think as a kid that just conditioned me to play without audio. So I didn't actually care about hearing the game. I am also very sure as a kid I would not have owned headphones. Like, the concept wouldn't have even existed to me. I mean, A, that came after, but B, I'm not actually sure how popular iPods were where I was. 14 defense. The rarest of them all. Yeah, I mean, that's the experience for most kids, isn't it? Just to have a fucking smartphone. Let the smartphone parent you. I mean, to be fair, the generation before us would have been saying the exact same thing about TV. TV and yeah, then eventually the games. Honestly, even then, I don't think... Like, video games for us were still never as big as phones are now. The N-Gage. Man, the N-Gage, that's a bit too new age for me. Give me the TigerElectronicsGame.com any day. Oh yeah, no, YouTube Kids is so fucking bad. Like, even the popular stuff is insanely fucking bad. Like the fucking Cocoa Melon shit, oh my god. And then, if you go further into it, like the not popular shit that isn't supposed to show up is like genuine horror shit. Like, you're on a scale of brain rot to trauma. I can't remember if I got the potion. We'll find out, I guess. Jesus. Bad runs here. Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. I mean, there's a lot of absolute garbage on TV as well. I'm just always a big advocate of games over just watching. Like, comparatively speaking, I think you're developing a hell of a lot more skills playing a game than you are just by mindlessly watching shit. He's okay. No, not at the moment. So he's just, like, the reason I started talking about this was I was thinking about it. But I'll talk to my dad soon about it, because my dad, he is being a bit, helicopter's probably not the right word, but it's the closest. Just being like, oh, you can't have this, you can't have that all the time. So I haven't really had the discussion around games. Around what would be the right time for him. But he generally is trying to keep him away from, like, screens, generally speaking, as much as he can. But he still has to use a phone because he's in different countries all the time. So, like, doing video calls with different people in his family. So he does use a phone on occasion. But then the offside of that is that he's extremely demanding of other people's attention. Too much, you won't. No, he would not have used TikTok. I'm gonna risk this again though. And dead again. Was another pretty mid start with mid stats. I do think that was the right call. No, I don't. He's never talked about Bluey before. Nah, he wouldn't have watched any of those shows. So, when I was there, when I saw him earlier, well, I guess last year now, he wouldn't have watched anything from when I was with him. I think a year before that, he was watching some, like, stuff on YouTube Kids, it would have been. But it was just, like, specific, like, it wasn't shows, it was just, like, people. Oh. Over my dead body will he fucking be a Peppa Pig kid. Fuck that bitch. He does know what Pokemon is. We were doing like a puzzle book that was Pokemon themed when I was there a couple of days ago. But he wouldn't have watched any, and the only time he would have played any Pokemon game was when I was with him. I reckon that was like 2 years ago, and I was doing Battle Factory stuff, and then he came and did one of the battles. So it was like those 2 minutes. He wouldn't know about Wooper, no, that wasn't in the book. When we started the book, he was calling them all Pikachus. But then whenever it would be a new one, he'd be like, show me that one, where is it? But it was a new book, it had like up to Gen 9 pokes. I mean, anything that says mobile toddler oriented, yeah, that's dystopian shit. No. Right? I mean, mine's pretty close. It translates mobile game to trash. Basically the same thing. A lot of really high speed ones. Yep, go is trash. I've played Octopath Zero. I've put in like 80 hours. Insanely good game. Yeah, I didn't play the mobile version either. And I'm very glad I didn't. So I just got to experience the game as this, an actual good game. Wow. Oh, this is going shit. Counters already. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, X and Y was definitely where they were like, yo, remember Charizard? And then they just did that for another fucking 5 years. Jesus Christ, 5 encounters and no Rattata. I mean, it's hard to say that it started in the anime when Charizard was also in the Johto anime and the Hoenn anime. And in Sinnoh, he brought back, like, a ton of pokes from old gens as well. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think the better design in that regard was actually in Gen 1, what I was talking about before, how it's like, Butterfree is a shit mon, but you interact with it at the start because it's actually okay at the start of the game. It's then you can cycle through and go, oh, it's not actually good towards the end. Whereas it's like, at the start of Gen 5, Patrat and Purloin still fucking suck. And they're still just not fun to interact with. Man, my first stretch was so good, and then I got a fucking 1%er after it. Garbage. Oh my god! I'm resetting. Fuck this. 9 encounters before Weedle. With a mid-R Squirtle? Fuck that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Unpheasant's a good one because Unpheasant is also so fucking ugly. But it's like, even in Gen 1, it would be like Butterfree would fall off, but I would actually still enjoy using Pidgeot the whole way. Even though Pidgeot wasn't good. Comparatively speaking to a bunch of other things. But it still had enough to it. Like, it felt powerful. So I think Unpheasant, or like a regional bird, should still have something to it that isn't just, well, this fucking sucks. Yep. Double nines. Doesn't get worse than that. Oh yeah, it's going well. I'm almost done. I mean, Butterfree got Confusion. That was its big selling point. Where special moves at the early part of Gen 1 were very rare. And then you combine that with Sleep Powder. Oof. It's another really fast one. But Masquerain being bug flying but knowing Hydro Pump is cool. That's always one of my other things when people are always talking about the fucking physical special split and being like, oh, but this Pokemon doesn't get to use its stab move. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Because I'm always like, to me, especially as a kid, it was always cool having moves that weren't its stab. Like, those were the interesting ones. Oh man, like I loved using Solar Beam on Houndoom in Gen 2. Back when Houndoom was the only non-legendary fire type that could use Solar Beam. It's like, that was really cool. Like, of course it could use Flamethrower. I'm not there to be like, oh, this is so cool it can spam Flamethrower. Jesus. Oh dear, that attack. I mean, I don't relate to that. I do kind of remember wanting to always use moves that do damage, but I never wanted to just only use fucking stab. Like, you know, we were just talking about Butterfree getting confusion early game is what made it interesting. Like, that's not stab. It's like, you know, I would grab it, like, a Pokemon like Starmie is so much cooler than Seeking because it gets fucking Thunderbolt and Psychic and Ice Beam, even as Staryu, you know? Whereas Seeking's just sitting there with Ice Beam. Like, it's not cool because it gets Surf, it's a water type, everything's using Surf. Or it can get it, at least. I mean, Gyarados with the special moves in Gen 1 went hard, because it actually had high special. But even then, people, oh, you know, Gyarados in Gen 2, its special attack isn't that good. So? It's actually got a point of difference using other stuff, you know? Like, that's fine. Why would you want every mon of every type to just be focusing on its type? That's so much more boring. I mean, there were, unironically, actually quite a few Focus Punch Gengars going around in Gen 3. To hit the swap-in Tyranitar's. And I mean, if you play Gen 1 as a kid, it does absolutely make sense that you would be like, oh, if this move doesn't do damage, it's bad. Because a lot of the moves that you would learn at later levels were stat dropping moves that were shit. Like learning Leer at like level 43 or some shit. After already knowing Tail Whip. Rhydon learns both Tail Whip and Leer. I think I'm gonna risk this. It was a crap run, let's be real. With a crap Squirtle, more importantly. Like, that attack is so bad. If only the defense got to 20 as well. I mean, it's more, it would have been a crap run if I potioned. So I'm happy to take that risk. I definitely never had a 4 fire move Charizard that people talk about. Because, like, in Gen 1, even as a kid, I fucking loved the high crit rate moves. Like, I was definitely clued into that. Every mon that could learn Slash, I would always have Slash on it. And I played with Venusaur a lot, so I was like, I had Razor Leaf the whole way through. Slash with Sand Slash or with Dog Trio or whatever. Nah, always kept them. So I definitely would have done it with Charizard as well. I think I only played with Charizard like once though. I played with the other two a lot more. I vividly remember the first time I was paying attention and I used Razor Leaf with Venusaur and it didn't crit. It was against a Seal. And I was just like, wow, that's the first time I've seen that not crit. Anyway, I think that's going to do for now. That was... I got nowhere, but I went for a while. I'll do some factory later on. Thanks for watching. Peace, peace. Take care. Have a good one.